to the funny comics then. We're gonna keep that going. Just playing with you. Next man coming up to the stage has a black name, but he's white. Give it up for Payton!
Didn't know I had a black name. Thank you very much. Let's get down to the issues. I'm married. Sorry, reasonably priced prostitutes. I'm kidding, of course. Prostitutes take on married clientele all the time. It's actually their bread and butter. It's how they make a lot of their money. So I read. Marriage used to be about families joining together to accumulate wealth and gain more land. Are we not having a history lesson? I have charts. What assets did you bring with you to the Union? And the ones I brought with me were a 1997 Honda Civic and a crushing fear of loneliness. Both of which I expect back at the end. The odds are good. It's a fine machine. And a lot of people think it's hard to stay married and to stay faithful. And I'm here to tell you that it's really not. It's super easy. It is super easy to do that when no one else is interested in you sexually. When you're the kind of person who's accidentally hit on once every decade, it makes it real hard to keep the hose at bay. That's a phrase I use in my everyday life, as you can tell. So one thing that happens when you get married is that you find yourself involved in activities you didn't even know existed when you were single. I don't know what the hell a frittata festival is, but I'll be damned if I haven't been to 3 of them. Sprinkle a little cilantro in there. I'll be back next month for the jalapeno fest. Do those go together? I don't know if those go together. So, let's get real. One thing that's hard, it's more weird about being married is that you have someone who's completely devoted to you, even though you know their life would be improved if they weren't. That's just the truth. I have nothing funny to add to that. And, you feel that. And another thing that's kind of hard is that, when you fight, you can't just turn around and say, fuck that guy. Because that guy is now sleeping next to you and her little pants with sheep on them. Kind of makes it hard to be dismissive. And you will fight, everyone does. You'll even find yourself fighting about the exact same things your parents used to fight about. For instance, last night we had a huge fight about Mr. T being overexposed. Right, we get it. You pity the fools. Fucking God. I grew up in the 80s, in case you didn't know. And we had to have a wedding at some point. Before we started the marriage, we did it the traditional way. And I don't like weddings because, they get a lot of attention. You spend months and months planning a wedding ceremony for one night of your life, and you spend about 5 minutes planning the 60 years that come afterwards. I don't know how we'll buy a house, but I can tell you the diameter size of the gourds that were our centerpieces. 8 3/4. The one at my Uncle Mike's table was fucked up. I got to take it home, and I said he was okay. Also, married people feel the need to document their lives. in picture form. And I kind of get the feeling that they don't think anyone will believe they're married unless they have photographic evidence of it all over their house, of them standing at a 45-degree angle from each other, foreheads touching, looking at the ground. You know, as married people do when they're contemplating things. I'll pass on the tour, Tim. Thank you. You'll see a lot of that on social media. Oh, look for me on social media, everybody. Look for me on there, because I don't use social media, so it'll be a real challenge for you to find me on there. Detective story for you. And it's kind of odd that I don't like social media, because I usually like depressing things. But the depressing things I'm into are more of an artistic nature, and not broken up by sponsored posts about how Wendy supports the troops. I'm doing God's work over there. The only thing that I don't like about using social media is that I have to hear racist comments the old-fashioned way by talking to my family. Glad you met one of the good ones, Grandpa. Good for you. My grandpa's been married for 71 years, by the way. He's very old. Yeah. And I don't know if he does this, but one thing that happens is, for me, you find yourself, you can't fantasize about sleeping with someone else guilt-free unless you imagine some sort of awful disease has taken your partner away from you. And that really ruins the rest of the fantasy to have to include, you gotta include ventilators and living wills. I find it very hard to throw a sexy Latina into that mix. Sorry, Sonia Sotomayor, you're gonna have to see your way out of this sexy scenario. Go back to the Supreme Court or whatever the hell you do. This is my fantasy, this is not yours. Do not. I mean, I still fantasize about it. Oh, I saw a billboard that said, a sign of autism is if the person does not make eye contact. So I think that means my wife is autistic during sex. We're gonna have to get her tested. It's very costly. I don't know what the copay is for that. Like I have any money. And, you know, married people have sex sometimes, and that's a part of it. I mean, it's an unfortunate part of it if you're married to me. And married sex is different than the sex you're all having, because I assume the sex you're all having is frequent and incredible. I just assume that about every person I meet. And practicality starts to make its way into your routine, and it really annoys me. I'll be in the middle of having sex, and she'll stop me and ask, "Did you call your parents back?" So I don't want it to... Yeah. Maybe that says more about me. So I don't want to ruin the mood, so I try to pretend it's dirty talk, and I say, I'm gonna go with it. And so I say, "Yes, but with the time difference, they're already asleep, you little slut." It works, it works. It's successful. So we have Central Mountain. Still figuring that out. And also, when you've been together a while, you get more comfortable bringing sex toys into the equation. We all are adults here, right? And I am not anti-vibrator. I'm for them. A lot of men are threatened by them. I think they're great. I think every woman should have one. They should be issued in schools. When you get your milk ticket, like, That's fine. I just don't know what to do while she's using it. Because everything I, contribute just does nothing. I'm to the main event. It's accomplishing nothing. So I've decided to make myself useful. So now, while she's using it, I just braid her hair. I just perfected the fishtail braid last week. It was very complicated. I think I'm starting a business. Again, my apologies to the reasonably priced prostitutes for that. So, we're starting to get a little older. I'm starting to worry that my wife will want children. Mostly because she tells me every day I want children. And I've come up with a strategy around this. Let me know if this is good. I don't let her see me being affected by cute children. So last week we're in a Target. It's kind of the mecca for young white couples, I guess. And I needed some bounty. And so we're in there, and I see mom with her little girl, about yay tall, and she picks up a giant purse off of the shelf, and she's carrying it around like she's going to buy it for herself. And it was just the most adorable thing I've ever seen. This picturesque being of innocence and purity. And to diffuse the cuteness of the situation, I reported her to security for shoplifting. And so she's serving 5 to 10. She'll learn her lesson. Okay, thank you very much.